The Hendersons' housewarming party was supposed to be simple. Wine, soft jazz, a few close friends scattered across a newly furnished living room. You wore the green dress Ethan loved, the one he said brought out your eyes every single time. And he wore that easy smile that still made your stomach flip after 2 years of marriage. Ethan said, "You look incredible tonight." You said, "You say that every time." Ethan said, "Because it's true every time." The night moved lazily. He talked with Sarah about her new kitchen tiles. Ethan got pulled into a debate about grilling techniques with Sarah's husband, Mark. Laughter filled the house, warm and easy. Around 11, you excused yourself to find a bathroom, wandering down an unfamiliar hallway since the one downstairs had a line. You tried a door that looked like it might lead somewhere useful. It didn't. What you saw instead stopped you cold. Sarah's sister, Rachel, and her boyfriend, Daniel, were in the guest room. Rachel was blindfolded, wrists loosely bound to the headboard with a soft scarf, laughing breathlessly at something Daniel had whispered. He noticed you first, over her shoulder, and his eyes went wide. You said, "Oh my God." You slammed the door shut, heart hammering, face burning. You practically ran back to the party, weaving through the crowd until you found Ethan. Ethan said, "Hey, whoa, what's wrong? You look like you saw a ghost." You said, "We need to go, now." In the car, you told him, haltingly, your cheeks still hot, unable to look at him directly. Ethan was quiet for a moment, then let out a low breath. Ethan said, "Wow, okay, didn't expect that from Rachel." You said, "Me neither. I mean, they looked so happy though. Comfortable, not weird at all." Ethan said, Yeah, they did." Neither of you said anything else about it that night, but the image stayed with you. The blindfold, the trust in Rachel's laugh, the way Daniel had looked at her like she was the only thing that existed. The days that followed felt normal on the surface. Work, dinners, the usual rhythm of marriage, but something had shifted, subtle and quiet, like a stone dropped into still water, ripples spreading slow. You caught yourself thinking about it at odd times, stirring coffee, waiting for the elevator, lying in bed at night while Ethan slept beside you. What would that feel like? The blindfold, the surrender, the trust required to let someone else take control completely. You didn't tell anyone. You barely admitted it to yourself. One night, curled on the couch with your laptop while Ethan showered, curiosity got the better of you. You searched carefully, almost guiltily, reading about trust exercises, about communication, about how couples navigated that kind of intimacy safely. You closed the tab quickly when you heard the shower shut off, cheeks warm, feeling almost caught even though no one was watching. Ethan on his end wasn't much different. At work, during a slow afternoon, he found his mind drifting back to that hallway more than once. He remembered your face when you told him, flushed, flustered, but not disgusted. Curious. He recognized that look because he felt it too. He thought about it in the shower. He thought about it during his commute. He wondered more than once what you'd look like blindfolded, trusting him completely, waiting for his voice to guide you. He never brought it up, neither did you, but something had changed between you. Small things. The way his hand lingered a little longer on your waist. The way you held eye contact a beat too long during dinner, then looked away, feeling caught. One evening, about 3 weeks after the party, you were both getting ready for bed when Ethan came up behind you at the mirror, wrapping his arms around your waist, chin resting on your shoulder. Ethan said, "You've been distracted lately, something on your mind?" You said, "No, just tired." Ethan said, He didn't push, but his eyes met yours in the mirror, and for a second, something passed between you, unspoken, charged, gone before either of you could name it. 3 more weeks passed like that, tension simmering quietly beneath the surface of your marriage, neither of you brave enough to say the thing you were both thinking, until one Friday night. You'd planned a quiet dinner at home, just the two of you. Candles, a bottle of red wine Ethan had been saving, a playlist of old songs from when you were first dating. It felt, in some ways, like courting each other again. Ethan said, to us, 2 years down, a lifetime to go. You said to us, you clinked your glass against his. The wine flowed easy through dinner, conversation drifting toward old memories. Your first date, the terrible movie you'd both pretended to like, the way he'd nervously spilled water on himself trying to impress you. You said, you were so smooth, real charmer. Ethan said, I got the girl, didn't I? Worked out pretty well for me. By the second glass, you were both looser, laughter coming easier, glances lingering longer. You moved to the couch, closer together than usual, his arm draped along the back of it, fingers occasionally brushing your shoulder. Ethan said, can I ask you something? You said, sure. You turned to face him, your knee brushing his. He hesitated, turning his wine glass slowly in his hand. Ethan said, that night, at the Hendersons, what we saw. Your stomach flipped. You said, yeah? Ethan said, I haven't stopped thinking about it. Not in a weird way, just, I keep thinking about how comfortable they looked, how much they trusted each other. Your heart pounded. You said, I've been thinking about it too. I didn't want to say anything. I thought it was just me. Ethan said, it's not just you. I've thought about doing something like that with you, if you wanted to, only if you wanted to. The confession hung in the air between you, fragile and charged. Your cheeks burned, but beneath the embarrassment was something else. A flutter of excitement, a curiosity finally given permission to exist out loud. You said, I want to. I've wanted to since that night. I just didn't know how to say it. Ethan's eyes darkened slightly, something shifting in his expression. Want, relief, anticipation all tangled together. Ethan said, yeah? You said, yeah. He reached up, tucking a strand of hair behind your ear, his fingers trailing down the side of your face. Ethan said, do you trust me? You said, completely. He leaned in slowly, giving you every chance to pull away, but you didn't. His lips met yours, soft at first, testing, before deepening into something hungrier, more certain. Your hands found his shirt, fisting the fabric as he pulled you closer, one hand sliding into your hair, tilting your head to deepen the kiss further. You said, Ethan. Ethan said, I've got you completely. You melted into him, every nerve alight, the tension of the past weeks finally breaking loose. His hands roamed carefully, reverently, mapping the parts of you he'd touched 1,000 times before, but now with new intention, new purpose. You said, bedroom. Ethan pulled back just enough to look at you, eyes searching yours one more time. Ethan said, you're sure? You said, I've never been more sure of anything. He stood, taking your hand, pulling you up gently against him. His lips found yours again in the hallway, slow and searing, pressing you gently against the wall as his hands framed your face. Ethan said, tell me if anything feels wrong. Anytime. We stop immediately. You said, I know. I trust you. He kissed you once more, deep and slow, before leading you toward the bedroom, fingers laced tightly with yours, both hearts pounding with a mixture of nerves and anticipation neither of you had felt in years. The door clicked shut behind you, the candlelight from the living room barely reaching the hallway now, leaving only the sound of quiet breathing, soft laughter, and the promise of a night neither of you would ever forget. The bedroom was dim, lit only by the soft glow filtering in from the hallway. Ethan closed the door behind you both, and for a moment you simply stood there, breathing each other in, the weight of what you were about to do settling over the room like a held breath. Ethan said, we can stop any time. Say the word, and that's it. No questions. You said, I know, I want this. I want you. He reached for your hand, pressing a slow kiss to your knuckles, his eyes never leaving yours. Ethan said, I got something from that new drawer I told you about last week. if you're okay with it. You said, show me. He walked to the closet, pulling out a small box you hadn't noticed before. Soft rope, a silk blindfold, nothing frightening. Everything chosen with care. Your heart raced, but not from fear, from anticipation. Ethan said, just the blindfold tonight. Nothing more unless you want to. You said, okay. He came back to you slowly, cupping your face in his hands, kissing you deeply before speaking again, his voice low and steady. Ethan said, turn around for me. You did, your pulse thundering as he gathered your hair gently over one shoulder, pressing a kiss to the back of your neck before sliding the blindfold over your eyes. The world went dark, and every other sense sharpened instantly. His breath against your ear, the warmth of his hands at your waist, the soft creak of the floor as he moved. Ethan said, can you see anything? You said, no, just you. I can feel you. Ethan said, good. That's all I want you to feel. His hands slid slowly down your arms, and you felt the soft rope loop loosely around your wrists. Not tight, not restrictive, just enough to remind you it was there, a physical anchor to the trust you'd both spoken aloud. Ethan said, too tight? You said, no, it's perfect. He guided you gently toward the bed, laying you back with a tenderness that contradicted everything you'd imagined this might feel like. There was nothing rough about it, only deliberate, unhurried care, every touch a question, every pause an invitation for you to speak if you needed to. Ethan said, you're beautiful like this. Do you know that? You said, Ethan. Ethan said, I've got you. Just feel. His lips found yours again, slow and deep, before trailing along your jaw, down your throat, taking his time with every inch of you, like he was memorizing something he'd known for years but was only now truly seeing. Blind to everything but sensation, you found yourself surrendering completely, not losing yourself, but trusting someone else to hold you steady while you let go. You said, please. Ethan said, I've got you. I'm right here. The night unfolded slowly between you both, breathless words exchanged in the dark, his voice a steady thread guiding you, your murmured responses telling him exactly what you needed. There was laughter too, soft and surprised, when the rope slipped loose once and you both dissolved into giggles before finding your rhythm again. It wasn't performance. It was two people who trusted each other completely, discovering a new language for something that had always been there. By the time the blindfold came off, much later, you were tangled together beneath the sheets, breathless, hearts pounding in unison, foreheads pressed together in the dark. Ethan said, you okay? You said, more than okay. Ethan said, yeah? You said, yeah. I didn't know it could feel like that. He pulled you closer, pressing a kiss to your forehead, his hand tracing slow circles on your bare back. Ethan said, me neither, honestly. I was nervous. You said, you? Nervous? Ethan said, terrified. Didn't want to mess it up. Didn't want to push you somewhere you didn't want to go. You said, you didn't. You listened. That's all I needed. Morning came slow and golden, sunlight creeping through the curtains. You woke tucked against Ethan's chest, his arm heavy around your waist, his breathing even and calm. For a while, you just lay there, replaying the night in fragments. Soft laughter, whispered trust, the particular way he'd said your name like it meant something new. Ethan stirred beside you, pressing a lazy kiss to your shoulder. Ethan said, morning. You said, morning. Ethan said, you're smiling. You said, am I not allowed to smile? Ethan said, no, I like it. I like that I put it there. You turned in his arms to face him, cheeks warming as last night replayed vividly in your mind. You said, I can't believe we actually did that. Ethan said, regrets? You said, none, not even a little. He tucked a strand of hair behind your ear, studying your face like he was looking for something. Ethan said, "Can I be honest?" You said, "Always." Ethan said, "I don't want that to be a one-time thing. I know we said just tonight, but I don't know. Something about it felt like it wasn't finished, like there was more we hadn't found yet." Your heart skipped, warmth spreading through your chest. You said, "I was thinking the exact same thing. I don't want it to end here either." Ethan said, "Yeah?" You said, "Yeah, I trust you." And last night, it didn't feel like something separate from us. It felt like us, just a part we hadn't discovered yet. Ethan smiled, pulling you closer, pressing his lips to yours in a kiss that felt different from all the ones before. Slower, surer, a promise instead of a question. Ethan said, "Then I guess we're doing this again." You said, "I guess we are." Over the following weeks, it became something quiet and sacred between you. Not talked about outside your bedroom, but present in small signals only the two of you understood. A particular look across the dinner table, a hand lingering just slightly too long on the small of your back, a single word spoken softly before bed that meant more than it seemed to. You found a rhythm together, slow, evolving, built entirely on trust and communication, each time deepening the intimacy between you rather than complicating it. What had started as an accidental glimpse through a stranger's door had become something entirely your own, woven quietly into the fabric of your marriage. One night, months later, lying tangled together in the aftermath of another evening spent exploring that same trust, you traced your fingers along Ethan's chest, smiling softly to yourself. He said, "Do you ever think about that party, the one where we saw them?" Ethan said, "All the time. Best housewarming gift anyone ever accidentally gave us." You laughed, swatting his chest lightly, and he caught your hand, pressing a kiss to your palm. Ethan said, "I mean it though. That night changed something. Not just in the bedroom, between us. We talk more. We ask each other what we want instead of guessing." You said, "Yeah, we do." Ethan said, "Best accident that ever happened to us." You said, "Best accident." He pulled you closer and you settled against him, heart steady, the space between you smaller than it had ever been, built not just on desire, but on the quiet, unshakable trust that had carried you both there.